Hello? Yeah, please wait for a minute.
All your mobile phones are off. Hello? Yes, this is the conference call, and I think it's time that we start. Okay, thank you very much everybody. I think there are 21 participants totally, and I presume people who are not there on the call are able to listen to me on the VoIP call. Welcome and very good morning to all of you. This particular webinar and a conference call has been arranged to discuss about the recent communication that we have been receiving from Traces, and it's our initiative, and we welcome you all for it. I am a moderator for this call. My name is Akash. I head the operations at Relativity. Joining me is also my operations team, Radha, who is the team lead operations, Padmajoti, Sangeeta and Preeti, who help us, who are experts in QE TDS compliance. So with them, we take a call to start. Just to give you a gist about this particular webinar and conference.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
In case you are not able to listen, or if you would want to speak, please call 1-800-1033-8229 and use the conference pin 1951124 as you can see on the webinar, in case you are not able to listen. In case you are able to listen, that's great, good and well. Okay, so we go on to the first point. The conference call cum webinar has been segregated into two portions. The first 15 to 20 minutes is a presentation that I'm going to make to all of you, and the rest 25 minutes is for our interaction, where we are going to understand what issues you have and what solutions we can provide as QE TDS compliance experts. Okay, so the first basic understanding we need to know is, on the 21st of February, there was an email sent out from Traces about imposition of penalty under section 220 of 2. Now, I understand probably all of you who are participants on this call are, taxation experts, or at least who are aware of taxation points. So, section 220 of 2 is nothing but interest on interest, specific to QE TDS compliance. There are many times we do, or we unknowingly do short payments, short deductions, and on that the income tax department wants us to pay interest. Section 220 of 2 talks about interest on that interest. As you can see on the screen, it is, for example, it is interest on late payments, interest on late deductions, interest on late filings. Percentage is 1% per calendar month. It is not for 30 days. Let's be very understanding on that. It is 1% per calendar month. Many times what happens is we do not calculate interest under section 220 of 2 before making the necessary payments, and hence we receive a notice under 154 which is served to recover interest under section 220 of 2. Now the next point, as you have also read in the emails, is what is the timeline to reply to these demands. We receive a demand through hard copy, we receive a demand through soft copy, but we are not really sure when we can reply to it. So for this, these demands are, the timeline depends on the type of demand that you receive, and we have only two options. One, it is either the calendar month or 30 days from the date of intimation. Now, what are the, in what manner we are supposed to correct and reply to these demands for calendar month are also mentioned. All short payments, short deductions, interest on short payments and interest on short deductions should be paid and correction return filed. I'm being very specific. You don't only have to just pay, but you also have to do the correction return filing within the end of the calendar month. So for example, let us say you receive a notice or an intimation on the 15th of February. Okay. If you receive a notice or intimation on the 15th of February for short payment, short deductions, interest on short payments and interest on short deductions, you should do the payments as well as the correction filings as necessary before 28th of February. Okay. If you receive it on the 21st of February, still we have to do it before the 28th of February. That is what I mean at the end of calendar month. Some examples for 30 days are interest on late payments, interest on late deduction and late filing fees. Now you have an interest on the late payments or interest on the late deductions. This we have 30 days time from the time we receive the intimation. Okay. And very specifically, I'll also have to tell you that if you open the intimation, there is one date which is called as the order pass date. That is the date which is taken into account for, not even the date when you receive the hard copy or you receive the soft copy. Logically then the next question arises is, are all these demands legitimate? Does, Traces calculates all these intimations and senses huge demands. Are these legitimate demands? That an answer to that is no. We have found that many demands are not legitimate. Like for example, there have been some incorrect demands as well. We will go to that point, but demands should always be analyzed before you make the necessary payments and correction filings. So it is something like this: you analyze the demand, then if you find it correct, then you make the payments and do the correction filings. If you do not find it correct, then you do only the correction filings to nullify the demand, right? Now coming back to what happens if we receive an incorrect demand, you don't have to pay that money. We have come across few examples of incorrect demands. For example, that there was a valid PAN that was marked as invalid PAN and thereby 20% liability of TDS deduction was mentioned on the demand. We took it to Traces. We told this is a valid PAN. We showed them the income tax database screenshot mentioning that this is the valid PAN. And of course, it did take a little time for us to do that, but subsequently it was the demand was called back, and it was nullified without even having to pay the amount. Sometimes we also have seen that surcharge for employees has been calculated. We are all aware, being in the finance department, that surcharge no longer exists. But in case you receive a demand which includes the surcharge, please do not pay it. You can contact Traces and get that demand nullified. Another example of an incorrect demand was for one of our clients, vendors, who had a lower deduction certificate. Let's say consider a limit of 50 crores, and he had only claimed 45 crores until this financial year. But still a demand was raised even when the limit is not reached. We spoke to Traces. We told that the certificate has 50 crores of money, but we have paid only 45 crores, and thereby it is not a right demand. It did take some time, but yes, it was nullified subsequently. Now let's come to interest calculation. I'm not going to take much time here on the interest calculation. Okay, I'm not going to take much time for the interest calculation here. We are all aware that late payments, short payment interest is 1.5% per month, and short deduction and late deduction interest is 1% per month. But what is necessary for us to understand is please do not, we shouldn't calculate the interest based on the number of days. it has to be calculated based on the number of months, right? So let's say, for example, you know, the tax deducted date is 10th of July 2013, and the tax, so when you deduct the tax on the 10th of June 2013, you are supposed to pay it on the 7th of July 2013. Sorry. If you do not pay, you cannot pay only 1 month of interest, which is for the delay from 7th of July to 8th of July. It will be calculated for 2 months. So you will have to pay right from the date of actual deduction. So you'll have to take into account June as well as July. I hope you are all aware of this. Okay, sometimes you know, we have also seen that when you do correction, let's take one particular you know, case here. You are filing a correction return for a PAN update for Q2 of 2012-13. I'm just taking an ad hoc example. After you file the PAN update for Q2 2012-13 financial year, you expect the PAN to be updated, right? But what happens is subsequently you start receiving demands for Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. Okay. Now that is because the minute you do correction filings for the previous years, Traces is reprocessing all those filings, and if any errors are seen, then you see that particular okay, you see that particular this one coming up. Okay, and I think there are some questions that have come up. Let's just see. 1 second. Anyway, I know that there are some questions which are coming up. I'm going to take them slowly after I finish this particular you know, presentation, which is another couple of slides more. Okay, now coming to the interest amount. When you pay the interest amount, you are also supposed to do correction filings. Just paying the interest amount is not sufficient. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, so when we pay the interest amount, we are also supposed to do correction filings. Traces has changed the format of the TDS file, where we need to mention the interest amount now in 2 different places instead of 1 while filing your QE TDS returns. So please remember, the interest amount have to be mentioned in 2 different columns, no matter if you use your own in-house or an inbuilt RPU generator, or the NSDL's own RPU, or softwares which are available in the open market, which we process, which are, you know, used for filing the original as well as correction returns. Interest amounts now have to be tagged to 2 different columns. Okay. You may or may not be aware about the Challan adjustments Traces has started making. What happens is, the excess amount paid in the previous financial year can be immediately adjusted for the next Challan in the current financial year. Now this is only possible for the interest amounts, and this starts from 9/10 and 10/11. Okay, so the challans paid with a specific code can be utilized for consumption under any other section in the deductive rules. So let's say you pay a challan in 194J, but you can still use that challan for 194I. But that is only possible from financial year 13-14 onwards, not possible for financial year before 13-14. And Q3 13-14 onwards only you can use challans of different sections to different sections. The lower deduction certificate under section 197, this is a very common parameter that many of us are using nowadays. But what is also important is you need to ensure that you make a note of this lower deduction certificate and its limit before you decide whether the vendor makes use of this lower deduction certificate or not. Because let us say, for example, consider a case here. The lower deduction certificate is valid for a amount of 1 crore, and if you are going to pay him an amount more than 1 crore, then you cannot use the lower deduction certificate for the excess payments made beyond 1 crore. And if you are going to use that, knowingly or unknowingly, Traces is going to raise a demand which eventually you have to pay it as a short payment. Please ensure that the PAN number, the section, the tax rate, the validity period, as well as the threshold limits are right. It is very, very essential. Okay, and you can see also on filing, point number 2 is raise the flag A. Flag A is the flag required to map the lower deduction certificate line entries. You should ensure, no matter what software you are using, to raise the flag A. You know that deletion of line entries currently is not possible. So as much as possible, we need to ensure that we have only correct information on the original filings, and we need to nullify the amount paid in TDS and need to add the correct line entry only. There is no possibility to delete a line entry on the audio. Okay, if you are aware, TDS statements now cannot be filed without quoting valid challans and deductee rows. It is very, very essential that all challans that you mention on the TDS returns have to be valid challans. So you make sure that those challans are reflecting on OLTAS. OLTAS, online tax accounting system, OLTAS, right? Nil returns are also now not possible, which we are aware from the last 2-3 quarters. Okay, before I'm almost come to an end. This is the second last slide. Very importantly, on the technical issues that Traces, there are some technical issues at Traces. As I mentioned earlier, not all the demands that you would receive may be legitimate. You will have to thereby check before you pay the demands. And if you find that they are not right, you can go back to Traces. We have done that for our clients, and we have seen, yeah, it does require a bit of time and effort. It may not happen tomorrow, right? But we have seen results. Traces is accepting its fault and nullifying the demand. But these are some examples that we have seen as technical issues at Traces. If any of you are getting these kind of problems, yes, we do agree that Traces is undergoing a technical ramp up. Correction filing for 24Q for a large number of organizations is still pending for no reason at all. Hence, the importance of filing original returns correctly comes into picture. The second is Traces is rejecting the corrections without any valid reason. This is one more important thing that we have noted. It just rejects without a valid reason. Justification report is not available for some of the defaults. Usually we have these justification reports which come up, but for few of the defaults, justification reports are not available. Not able to download the TDS file for employees. If we do quote a PAN number in Q4, it gets updated on Annexure 1 but does not get updated on Annexure 2. And if it does not get updated on Annexure 2, you are aware that Part A of Form 16 is not going to come out. Hence, this is one more technical issue that most of our clients face. Sometimes correction filings are processed, but yet on the Form 26As, it isn't reflecting yet. Right? So this is also one of the common problems that we have seen. There are some miscalculative problems as well on traces, but for the time being, there is no solution. We will have to just live with it. Again, coming back to the same point of filing correct returns even while you do the original filing. I think that's the best solution that we can provide right now. Okay, for you are all aware that for PAN not available, 20% of TDS is mandatory. Now there were many questions: if employees do not come under the tax slab, right? Do they still need to deduct 20%? Yes, we still need to deduct 20% if you want to issue, if you want to report them on the QE TDS returns. There were also some questions on the DTAA Act. Right, there are foreign vendors who are residing outside India, and those vendors do not have PAN numbers. Though the DTAA Act does not specify any rate of deduction for non-PAN entities, but the Income Tax Act 1961 is very clear. The Finance Act 2012 is also very clear. We need to deduct 20% if the entity, it could be a foreign entity as well, even if the entity does not have a PAN number, we need to still continue to deduct 20% plus the 3% of education cess. So totally it will be 20.60%. Okay, so this is as far as what I have, we have prepared for you, and most important part of the conference call is also to answer a lot of questions that the industry might have, and we are ready to take it. I know there are some questions on the chat board. We will come to that one by one, but right now I would, people who are there on the call, you can ask me questions that you have. Please tell us your name and your question. You can also ask the question through the VoIP call, the VoIP facility. So we are also open on the VoIP facility. You can also ask us questions on that. Hello. Yes, Mr. Aslam, please tell me. Okay. The 3% education. Okay. The education test is something which comes under section 195 for all the 195 deductees. Okay. For 192 and the Indian vendors employees, there is no education test. But for 195 deductees, for section 195, we have education test mandatory at 3%.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, that is it. That is it.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, please.
I'm Satish here.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Please come again. Please come again on your question. Okay. Okay. Right. Right.
Hello.
Okay, so you can tell me. Abhijit, you can tell me. So they have a short deduction. So I'm banking on my QETDS sitting in front of me. Okay, so Padmajyoti, they have a short deduction of 1 rupee, 2 rupee for at least 50 or 60, it is 50 or 60 line entries. So his question is whether he has to go and individually correct every line entry. Yes, yeah, it has to be done. We Sujit, right? Yeah, Sujit. So it has to be done.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I'm Satish here.
1 minute, Annapurna. I have another question on the VoIP. Yeah, Satish, please go on.
Yeah, I sent one email to I'm not able to download the correction details, but no reply
You are
from
not
the
able to download the TDS console file.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I sent a mail to Trace from last
Okay.
5 months, but till now I have not received any reply from the Trace.
Okay. See, you have already sent an email to Traces, right?
Yeah, today morning also again I reminder.
Okay. So for the people who are there on the conference call, Satish has a question. He is not able to download the TDS console file from the last 5 months. He has also sent an email to Traces. So our solution for this would be, Satish, have you tried contacting Traces on their toll-free number?
Yeah. I contacted Trace also. They have told me within 2 days they sort it out. I will send you the email, but till now they are not received.
Okay, I'm also banking answers for this from my team. Yes, Radha. What can we do if this is the question? Okay, Satish, for that particular quarter, has there been a correction filing that you have done which has not got processed?
Yes.
Yes.
And also
Okay, so then
I received a notice from Trace stating that not deducted, but I done already everything. Yeah.
So Satish, the solution for this is you will have to first ask Traces to process the correction filing that you have already done, and only then the TDS console file will be available for download.
But how to ask?
Satish, I know that it's very difficult, but we have been able to move Traces only through their contact numbers and email IDs. We have no special, access to Traces, but yes, it requires some amount of, daily follow-up that you have to do, some reminders every day. You have to send email reminders, and only then it's going to happen. But it does happen. It does happen.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Annapurna had a question on the conference call. Annapurna, can you please go on? Yeah. Your question was regarding interest payment. Okay. Okay. Right. Correction returns is mandatory, Annapurna. Unfortunately, right now, Traces wants us to do both. That is, pay the demand as well as undertake the correction returns. Because logically speaking, Traces will not know for what you have paid this 400 rupees until you do the correction returns. Okay, so this is under which section of interest that you are paying? Okay. Okay. So for for all the people on the webinar, Annapurni had a question about demand that she has received for a small amount of 400 rupees. They have also paid, but the question was actually, do we also need to correct the return? The answer for this is yes, they need to correct the returns, because logically speaking, they will not be able to understand for what reason you have paid this 400. So we will have to do the correction filing as well. The second part of the question was, how do we do the correction filing, and for which, you know, Padmajyoti has an answer. You will have to add a new challan and map those lines. Do we have to map those line entries? No. So since it is an interest payment, just add a new challan of 400 rupees and be done with it. It's very simple, Anupu. Just add a new challan and be done with it. Thank you. Yeah, one next question, please. Satish. Yeah, Satish has another question.
Yeah, you are sending the short payment list, no? You cannot able to download it this one. And how to correct it, and we are using more interest on that. How to correct it, that one?
Can you repeat your question, Satish?
Yeah, we are using the demand notice of the claim. Okay, we are not able to download it also, and we cannot able to done it in case also. And
Okay.
how to we are using the demand notice again and again, as you know about that, with the interest.
Okay.
And how to go about it?
See, until and unless you are not able to download the justification report, you will not know why the demand has come. Hence, we don't have an option but to wait for the justification report and only then do the correction filing. Did I answer your question?
No, income tax is not coming aggressive on us.
Sorry?
The stress people is not coming aggressive on us.
Now, I don't think because it is Trace's own problem, so they will not put interest again on that. Okay, fine. So, is there other questions, please? Yes. Hello. Raghav. Yeah, please tell me, Raghav. Right. Okay. See, it is absolutely depending on your QETDS filing. Okay. So let us say you want to report this employee's income on the QETDS filing. In that case, you have to deduct 20%. For otherwise, if you do not deduct but yet report in the QETDS filing, they are going to raise a short deduction. Notice, because the law also says that for entities who do not have a PAN number, right? It could be entities or it could be even employees who do not have a PAN number, and you are reporting that on QETDS filing, you have to deduct 20%. So sometimes, you know, there is a conflict between a couple of points, but I think we have to live with that for now.
Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
Yeah. This
1 minute. One minute. Yeah, Anita, please tell me. Okay. 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 Okay.
Now I want to file a revised order. I found the personal site at the time.
Okay.
Sir, a line got
The line got frozen.
is unable to do any correction.
Oh, you are not able to do any correction.
And is deduction is critical.
Okay, 1 second. So, Padmajyoti is giving you the answer. What is the answer, ma? Okay, so now Anita, right? Yeah, so Anita has a question, and a very interesting question, in fact. I think we should really look at these scenarios coming to us in the future. So Anita's problem was that there was a Challan mismatch, and she tried to import the TDS console file to do the correction. Now her software is not allowing her to do the correction, right? Anita, which software are you using? Saral, Reliance software. Okay. So what you will have to do, Anita, one option is you either use the RPU that NSDL provides. RPU, yeah. Yeah, RPU is Return Preparation Utility provided by NSDL. You can download it for free of cost from NSDL's website. And you can use that. That is one solution. Or another solution is you need to contact your software vendor, and they will set it right for you. But this has nothing to do with traces or the correction file. We will have to do it as soon as possible. Otherwise, they will start calculating, further more interest. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Anita. Yeah, here we had another question on the webinar, please. Okay, there is one question that we received through a chat. Karthik KR. Karthik KR is there? KARTHIKR. Okay, never mind. I'll anyway read out the question. The demands raised are usually at 1.5% than at 1%. So there is no separate column for date of deduction. Please let us know the recourse in this case. This is the question Karthi has asked, and the answer for this would be from my team. What would be the recourse that we could suggest in this? Okay, so the date of deduction will not be available on the justification report. We will have to see that only on the TDS console file. That only from there you can get the date of deduction, and thereby figure out whether you have to deduct 1% or 1.5%, depending on what you get as the date. Okay.
Okay, hello Satish here again.
1 minute, Satish. Yes, who was that on the call? Yeah, Annapurna. Please tell me. Okay. 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 Have you found out whether that is a valid PAN? Okay. Okay. And have you also found out whether that particular correction has got accepted at traces? On the console file. Okay. 2 alpha, 2 numeric only can be corrected. Okay, 1 second. This is for PAN updation, is it? You are talking about PAN updation, right? 2 alpha. Is this the first time that you are doing a PAN update for that particular line entry, or this may be the second or the third time? Because Annapurni, I will tell you, PAN update can happen only once. Okay, so let us say you file original returns one with X PAN. It could be even with PAN not available, and then you change that X PAN to Y PAN, right? Now that you do using a correction return. Yeah. So after that, if this Y is again changed to A, B, P, Q or anything else, it is not going to get accepted. It will happen only once. Sorry, it will happen only twice. Yeah, twice. That is point number 1. And point number 2 is, every time it happens, you should ensure that the correction returns are accepted before you refile for the next for the same quarter another return. So you are filing a revised return for Q1 of 2012 and 13 today. Okay, you are doing a correction filing. Now you need to wait for this correction filing to be accepted or rejected before you file another correction return for the same quarter for the same 26Q or 24Q or whatever. So one possible problem would be that your correction return is still not accepted at traces. You please look at whether the correction return is accepted or not. That is one possible problem solution actually. And another one would be that you may be doing a PAN update more than twice. This is the first time that you are doing. Okay, so then I still believe that your earlier correction returns wouldn't have got accepted at all until now, because of which this particular problem has happened. What you will have to do is, right now for that particular quarter, you wait until all your correction returns are either accepted or rejected, and then you proceed, you download the TDS console file, you look in the TDS console file whether there is an update. If there is no update, you can do the update and it will happen. Okay, in that case, you will have to wait for some time until the demand is nullified. That is the only solution. You don't have to pay the demand. Yeah, December, Annapurni, we have demands which are coming from last 2 years. So, no, not to worry. There was another question on the webinar. I'll just take that. Hello. Any question on the webinar? I think there was a question that had to come.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Mohan Kumar has asked us a question through the chat. The question reads like this: under section 195 deduction without PAN, we are deducting at 20%, but till date we have not received any demand. Past few years we are following the same. How to go about this presently? Okay. So Mohan Kumar and for the rest. And for the rest of the community, for section 195 it is 20.60%. So you are only lucky until today, but tomorrow the minute traces starts processing that particular quarter's files, you will start receiving demands for the balance 0.60%. So whoever is deducting for section 195 without PAN number, please do it at 20.60, not at 20%. Any question, please? Yes. One minute, Anita. I'm just taking another question on the VoIP. Yeah. Who's this?
Satish here.
Satish. Yes, Satish.
Yeah. How to know the correction return is accepted or not? How will you come to know?
How to know whether correction return is accepted or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, how to know whether the correction return is accepted or not?
How did you post it? How did you post it? How did you? This one, no? This one. Question.
Hello, you can check the status in your traces login. You have to give your PRN number and you can see the status as correction returns or processed for Form 26 AS, and you have to still wait till it will come as the correction file is processed for Form 26 AS with default or without default. You need to wait for the particular command.
What you are telling is I have to go back to trace the website and I have to put my status and a PNR number and I have to find out if it's accepted or not. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. You are absolutely right.
Okay. And one more thing is the password is coming from your side or from trace side?
Password is which password?
You have to download this one. No? After that you have to put the PNR number. No?
Sorry sir, not able to hear you.
Yeah, after downloading the correction filing, to open that one, you have to put the password, no?
The password for justification report or TDS file?
TDS file.
TDS file. See, the password for the TDS file is your PAN number in
No,
capital
we are
letters.
downloading from the correction, whatever correction is required.
Okay.
Right, no. For that we have to put it into our software, we have to put the password. Right, no?
Yes.
Yeah, that password generating from trace or from your side?
No, it is from traces only. It is absolutely from traces. See, and there are basic chronologies for the passwords. Like for example, the TDS console files password is the PAN number of your company along underscore and the request ID that you receive when you give the request number, right? And for justification report, one second, for justification report, it is the just JR underscore your company's PAN number underscore what form number it is, whether it is 24Q, 26Q, 27Q or whatever, underscore the quarter Q1 or Q4, Q3 or Q4, underscore the financial year 2012-13, not 2013, 13. So there are certain chronologies that are available. And this is being generated by traces only. We don't generate it.
Okay.
Anita, you had a question. Yeah, that is for PAN not available. What is the rate of? 3%. It is not surcharge. It is education cess. See, for PAN not available, there is no surcharge. There is only education cess. Yeah, 3%. So 20% is the PAN not available TDS that you have to deduct, and 3% on 20% is 0.6%. Non-resident, yes. Yeah. So 3%. PAN is not available. TDS rate is 20%. So education cess is 3%. So totally it is 20.60%. No. There is no need to calculate surcharge for PAN not available case. Okay. But for all the rest, you will have to calculate as per the act. Okay. We have a question on the chat room by Ravi. How is interest levied by the department? Okay, so Ravi, your question is how is interest levied by the department? I go back to the interest calculation slide. Sorry. Yeah. Hello. Shahul, just a minute. I'm just talking to one Ravi. He may be there, he may not be there on the call, but his question was how to calculate the interest levied by the department. See, if you can see the slide that I am right now showing you, this is how interest calculation is done. And you know, depending on the type of short deduction or short payment that you receive, interest is calculated. Okay. I think that ends the question. Shahul. Yes. I'm answering your question, Shahul. Give me a minute. Now I understood your question. I'm just answering it. Give me a minute. Okay, Shahul. So I'll give you a longer solution for this. There is no direct solution available. For the benefit of all the other attendees, one Mr. Shahul has a problem that he is not able to download justification report for one of the quarters of financial year 2008-2009. In this case, you know, he was asking what can be done. So the first step is there are for certain years justification which are not available on traces. For this, you will the point that we need to do is we need to go and meet the local income tax TDS ward officers to get details of short deduction and short payment. Shahul has also done that, but he is unable to get short deduction details. Sorry, short payment details. Right, Shahul? Yeah. So he's unable to get short payment details, but short deduction details are available. So only 50% of the problem is over. Another 50% of the problem should be done. Okay, so one particular thing that you can do, Shahul, is you can carry on and do the correction returns only for the data that you have. Okay. So let us say now you have only 50% of data. Okay, so you do the correction for only that 50% of data. That may make traces to process that particular quarter's returns, and probably after that particular correction has got accepted, you may be able to download the justification report for the remaining data. Yeah, that is one possibility. Another possibility is, I'm considering that you already know us. We have something which is called as an audit. Probably we could look at there is an audit service that we do. We check for 13 different parameters on which we usually do this correction returns and the way of how traces calculates demand. If we do that, probably some end at the some light at the end of the tunnel may also come. Okay. Yes. For section 195 is the rate of TDS based on the country. That is right. Okay, what we can do, Shahul, is we can send you the list separately. So that, yeah, there is a matrix that is available for this you should deduct this much, for this you should deduct this much. We can send you that list, Shahul. We already have your email ID, so no problem. Okay. Yes. Yes, Sendil. On QETDS filing. Okay, if you are able to do the right calculation, it is possible on QETDS filing. Okay. Yeah, but the very important thing is you will have to do the calculations very correctly. Okay. No, but for your company you can give the rebate. That he will look at it when he's joining another company. That you can do. Yeah, please. Last question. I have a lot of other questions also. Yes. Yeah, when you want to report their income on QETDS filing, you will have to deduct 20% tax, though they do not come under the tax bracket. That is because, you know, they do not have a PAN number. So if they don't want you know, you to deduct 20%, let them procure a PAN number. Getting PAN number today is very easy. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Is there some other question on the VoIP or conference call?
Please, no problem.
Somebody new? Yes. Sorry? Yeah, Mr. Pramod, please tell me. Normally, how much time traces process deduction return file? See, normally I will tell you it is 10 to 15 days. 10 to 15 days. Okay. But abnormally it can go even up to 10 to 12 months. That is abnormally. But 90% of the correction returns are processed within 10 to 15 days. But if you know, if we belong to the 10%, then God save us. Okay. Thank you, Pramod. Raji has a question. I'm not sure if she's still on the call or not, but for the benefit of the others as well. So the question is there any possibility for leaving the interest? Notice has been received for interest towards late payment close to 1 lakh. Raji, but unfortunately there is no possibility to leave the interest. There is absolutely no possibility. Even the revision, I mean even there was a modification made for the year 2012 Financial Act, which said that even the assessing officers cannot disallow the interest. So you know, we have no option but to only pay the interest. And I'm very happy to hear probably your interest is only close to 1 lakh, because we have seen companies' interest being 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. There was one particular company for whom we calculated interest alone to be 6 crores. So you should be lucky on that front. But actually speaking, Raji, there is no possibility. Okay. Another question came from Mahendra. I'm not sure if he's still there on the call, but let me read out the question for your benefit. In the financial year 2007-2008, we have filed returns without PAN, not available for 4 employees. Now the department is raising the demand for 20% for these employees. We are not able to trace these employees to get their PAN. What is the solution? I truly accept the pain that you are going, Mahendra, because these employees are not there with you. And yet you know the demand has been served on you. So what is something that we can do?
10,000 pages revision letters.
Okay, Mahendra. So you are very lucky for financial year 2007-2008. PAN number not available, 20% is not mandatory, so you don't have to pay that. Neither you have to go in search of those employees who have left you. It is just an intimation, it is not a demand, so you don't have to pay it. Because in the financial year 2007-2008, PAN number deduction, PAN not available at 20% was not mandatory. Yes? So Mahendra, I believe you know you should give me a treat. Yes. Are there other questions? Hello. On the webinar. Yes. Yes, Annapurna. Yeah. Is not applicable. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay. 1 minute. For the subsequent years, from when did this 20% make mandatory? Annapurni, this 20% deduction was made mandatory only from 2010-2011 financial year. Okay, so 2008, 9, 9, 10 it is okay. So even if you have cases where in 2008, 9, 9, 10 PAN number for employees are not available, right, and you are receiving an intimation, you can ignore that intimation, it is not necessary to pay. Because for 20% deduction for PAN not available has been made mandatory only from 2010 and 11, 2010-11 financial year. Okay. You don't have, see, you will not receive demand. You will receive after 10-11, you have to pay only. Yeah. Either you have to pay or you have to give the PAN number. That's the only possibility. Okay. Okay, there is one gentleman by name Manoj Kumar who has asked a question. What is this? Is there any possibilities to convert FVU file into text file for correction? Manoj, I am not sure if you are on the call or not, but the answer is it is not possible to convert the FVU file because the FVU files are now encrypted. I think 1 year ago you could open the FVU files and look into the data, but since last 1 year, the FVU files are encrypted and we cannot convert it into a text or a CSV file. Okay. Okay. Next question is from Jayarajan. Q for obtaining PAN number. Okay. For obtaining PAN number, is it mandatory if the income is above basic exemption limit? Okay. So this is again Jayarajan's question was again on the 20% point about you know whether or not to deduct 20% if employees PAN number is not available. If the PAN number is not available, the rule says you deduct 20%, right? So whether or not your income is taxable, non-taxable, less than the threshold limit, over the threshold limit, it's not important. But The minute PAN is not available and you report them on TDS returns, you will have to deduct 20%. Okay, this is one of the last questions that I'm going to take, because we are already out on time. It is 11:38. I'm going to take 2 more questions. So in case you have questions, please tell me now. Nagesh has a question. Nagesh has a question. Concessional certificate valid, putting correct certificate number and flag A is also still receiving the default notice. No answer from traces also. What is the reason? Okay, Nagesh, I'm not sure if you are able to see my screen, but you will have to. If you see my screen right now, you can see that these points are necessary to be correct. Just quoting the certificate number and flag A is not sufficient. You will have to ensure the PAN number, the section, the tax rate, the validity period, and the certificate threshold limit. All is correct, and you have not exceeded the certificate threshold limit. Otherwise, if any of these parameters are not right, you will continue to receive the default.
It says 2010 and 2013. Yeah.
Hello. Okay. This is the last question on the chat room by Naveen Rosario. Please share that slides you have showed in this session. Naveen and for the rest of all of you, yes, we are sharing all the slides and recordings. The next question is, what is the penal implication if we delay the payment of interest or correct the interest on short payment? See, if you correct the interest on short payment, there is no penal penalty or any implication. But if you delay the payment of interest, you will be charged interest on interest under section 220 of 2 for interest on late payment and additional interest on late payment, and also for interest on late deductions and the late deductions against latest corrections, and the late filing fee as well. So that interest liability will only keep increasing if you continue to not pay the interest. Right. So that was a very nice session. I thank you very much, all the attendees. We have totally had around 28 or 29 attendees for the session. I'm sure it was of some assistance to you, and we will keep in touch. We will be sending you a recorded a recorded session of this webinar shortly to your email address. Please feel free to go through it in case you have any further questions. We will also share this PowerPoint presentation for your knowledge. Thank you very much. You all have a great day, and then wish you all good luck with QETDS filings. Thank you.
Hello. Mr. Akash.